Okay. Well, all right, but what is up, everybody? Welcome back. This is our 1040 discussion for One Piece. Komurasaki. That's the title of the chapter. That is huge. 41 chapters. That's chapter 1000. And chapter
Yeah.
1000 is just a monumental milestone. Oh man. All right, let's get into it quick, nice and quick. We start off with the cover story. Punching up
Oh,
Sanji's
what's the one?
brothers
Your
from
Gamma? Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh, that was
I
hilarious.
like that. I like that. It was a nice little throwback to obviously Cake Island, and
Yeah.
yeah, I thought it was a great cover story. It was a great cover story. I
Yeah,
enjoyed it.
and it's so similar to the way that Nami always beats up Luffy all the time, like when she's pissed
Luffy,
and everything.
100%.
So hilarious.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's not my favorite cover story. That's the Senor Pink and Frankie one. That was top tier. But yeah, it was definitely a good cover story.
That's dope. All right.
Mhm.
This week was just intense. It was just a little bit more piling on to like what we've been going through, like Oda basically tying up loose ends within the arc and then expanding on other things that we're going to go on to down the road.
Mhm.
And one of them was the storyline between Momo and Zunisha. That was a little
Yep,
bit interesting because
yep, yep.
they started off basically talking about the journal and how Momo was destined to do something. He was meant to do something and basically help out. And it kind of goes in line with the theory that either him or Luffy is Joy Boy, and this is it. It just works, and like Zunisha basically saying that he's there to help fight by their side and everything. But the fact of the matter is, of course, in the journal, the critical moments that include whatever um Odin
Obviously missing.
Jojo just discovered at Laughtail was torn out, so he still has to find out what happens, which is actually big. This kind of like
Mhm.
convinces us that Momo is still going to be with the crew till the end of the till the end when they find the One Piece, because he's like a
Yeah,
critical part of it now. There's
yeah.
something that he needs to learn and find out, the same as Luffy before like something needs to be done and why um and it's related to Wano and like the importance of Wano in the grand scheme of things. And I'm so excited. What do you think of that part?
I thought it was amazing. I really liked obviously them connecting some of the information we've gone through from previous arcs and bringing Zunisha back. And I mean, we already had that first instance when you heard Momo first hear the voices of them. So now that we're expanding on that, it's expanding more of the story because we've known that Zunisha's been there for years. So now we're finding, understanding, and connecting those storylines, which I think was beautifully done. I think, like you said, one thing you talked about, it shows that Momo's importance throughout the whole story. Like you said, he's gonna go through an Odin type journey where he's gonna end up being important either with the crew or not directly in the crew, he's going to be directly impactful to them getting to Laughtail eventually. So I think it's set up in the part that we are closer to the end of One Piece because every piece of terminology is focused on the end rather than something before the end, if you understand.
Yeah.
And I think it led to actually one of my favorite parts of the chapter where Momo had his little point of confusion where he was like, he doesn't know what he wants to do for Wano because he's not sure if he should open because of the potential changes. And I think it's shown him more taking that role of becoming the shogun of Wano. And it's nice to see the character development of Momonosuke throughout the whole period. And he's finally looking like that leader as he's shown elements throughout Wano. So I think it was really
Yeah,
great.
he's been going through a lot of character development, and
Yeah,
like he's comparing himself to his father, which is obvious because Odin like cast a huge shadow because all these people were following
yeah,
him, and Momo is just a kid, like until like a few hours ago, like he wasn't transformed to the size that is actually appropriate for his age and everything. But there's so much that he's been going through, so many growing pains. there's a lot of doubt in his mind about whether opening the borders of Wano is the safe idea, is the correct path, even though his father believes, like, through his journal, he believed that there was an importance to opening up the borders of Wano, and how that is important in the grand scheme of things to the end game of One Piece. So it's quite interesting. But the thing is, if he has to go with Luffy all the way to Laugh Tale, um, I guess this gives us an opportunity. I guess it could give an opportunity to Oda. Maybe Oda has been setting this up for a while, whereby Hiyori, his younger sister, who was separated from him and grew up in Wano while all this stuff was happening, where Orochi and Kaido took over. She has a greater understanding of what was going on in Wano, what the difficulties are, what are the importances are, like, of governing Wano in his stead.
Mm-hmm.
So the possibility is that in order for him to be allowed to travel, he actually won't be shogun, and instead Hirori become the shogun of Wano. You get
Shogun.
what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah. That's a good.
Yeah,
Very good.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Mhm. No,
All
I think
right.
that's a very good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have one more thing before you do. I just want to say we finally have a conclusion of Rizo's fight. And I want to say thank you. Thank you for that one. Thank you.
And the funny thing, it was mostly off screen. That's the
Yeah.
thing. But finally, it's done, and finally, like, you can see, like, he was struggling after, like, Fukurokujo went down, and he's like, "Bro, it's hot in here," and I'm like, "Dude, weren't you feeling it the
Yeah.
time that you were fighting?" But now
Until now, bro.
his reaction was
Bro.
hilarious. Oh man! All
100%.
right, going back to the biggest part of, I guess, the chapter in general, it was titled after it. Komurasaki and Orochi finding out
She
that
did a thing.
she's actually the daughter of
Yeah.
Odin, which is kind of like, I
Yeah.
was thinking about it today, and I looked at it. I was like, wait, if Komurasaki looks exactly like her mom, and I'm guessing Orochi saw Toki before, like, he took over and everything, like when he was borrowing money from Odin and being like a snake in general. Like, why didn't he put two and two together that this could be the daughter of my sworn enemy that I tried to take over? Like, before this, like, why was he just blinded by the
The
power of
holy blood.
Horny, or like, what? It feels like a huge plot hole because he should have figured this out before. You get
Yeah.
it? But I don't know. I don't know. It feels so weird to me. I'm like, for somebody who was so paranoid that the
There's
scabbards were
no
coming
way
back.
it was so close to you. Completely.
Yeah,
Completely.
like, how can this person that you're so close to, that you admire so much, as the Oiran of Wano, and you have no clue as
Blinded
to,
by love, bro.
like, probably not even love, it's just the other thing downstairs. Oh my
Yeah, yeah,
goodness.
yeah.
But but his discovery after he was shot by, like, the sea stone nail, so that he couldn't transform, and then he's trapped under the thing. I think that was well executed. It
100% done well. Yeah.
because it was showing us that, Hiyori had her own way of fighting, and she had a plan. Like, she just hated Orochi as much as everybody else that is part of the alliance,
Had to wait.
that has gone through a lot,
Yeah.
and especially her, like, living through. She must have heard all sorts of things that Orochi had said about her dad and everything like that. So it must have been hard for her, and, like, finally she's getting her part of the revenge, and it doesn't feel like she's a normal damsel in distress that we always have from, like, all these other
Completely.
arcs, especially
Completely.
like Rebecca, or
Rebecca. Yeah.
what's the mermaid princess.
Yeah.
She's
Heroes.
a lot different. Um, she can't necessarily fight, or rather, the way she fights is more covert. It's more under the radar. It's not in your face, like, I'm punching you all the way, which I like. It's like a different way. I like the creativity that Oda used to, like, take down Orochi.
Yeah.
Um,
I
but
think it's also comical because it's like look, like Orochi, even though he was the big bad, he was always taken a joke because you never really took Orochi seriously because you knew he wasn't the man he was trying to portray he is. So I think also the fact that he did lose to Hiyori with someone so close is kind of comedic at the same time that there's no
Yeah,
way that someone this paranoid lost to someone who was wearing a mask. It's
yeah. But it
like
also
what?
feels like poetic justice because
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like it's going off the themes that Oda loves, which is not
yes.
everything is as it seems on the outside,
Yeah,
as it
yeah,
is
yeah,
like truly like compared to what you see initially about how somebody acts is completely different from who they truly are. Like
100%.
Orochi was claiming to be this all powerful person, and yet he was just a puppet for Kaido. He wasn't
Just
as
another person.
strong, even though he
Yeah,
had a mythical zone devil fruit. But at the same time, Hiyori was pretending to be this nice, calm weakling, you know, uh, kind of
mhm,
weak, kind of petite, but couldn't fight. But yet she was smart, she was intelligent, and she knew how to use the psyche to like convince him and cloud his judgment, and then eventually take him down, which is
yeah.
cool. I mean, we haven't it confirmed yet. We don't have it confirmed yet, but I believe like that's how it's gonna end, which is interesting,
And
bro.
you know what? I'm content with that because at first I wanted this. What was it? The remnants of Odin to do it, but based
Yeah.
on how the story, is, I'm more than happy with it going this way. I think she's the one who endured the most pain from probably Orochi because she was directly there all the time. Even though she was undercover, she was the one who had to pretend. So I think her getting, like you said, the justice to it, I'm content with that being the end of Orochi. So
Yeah, plus it also gives her a little bit of a role. I kind of felt disappointed when she didn't come along with everybody else, but she
with them,
Nigashima
mm-hmm.
on her own way. She had her own plan, her own role. She wasn't there on the offensive, like overtly. She was more of a covert kind of operator within the whole grand scheme of the plan. And, she did it her own way without distracting the rest of the Red Scabbards from like what they were doing, the rest of the Alliance from having to worry about her because she knew how to take care of herself, which is like actually props to Denjiro because he must have been like teaching her how to take care of herself, how to fight in her own way, which is really cool. Oh man. All right, going into Izo and the CP0 saga, which is quite interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
hmm.
we eventually discover that the five elder stars, the Gorosei, I guess, they order they order the CP0
Hit on
agents that
Luffy
are there to like, yeah, they put a hit on him literally, which they should have done way before this.
time
Honestly,
time
like
ago,
long time ago, considering the amount of stuff that Luffy has done but hasn't got that much credit
bro.
for, or they just looked at him as something that's not that serious. But how do you do that to a person who has literally gone to all the main um big geographical places like that is
And
important, like
based on
symbols
next
of
level.
power for the world government, and
Right.
his lobby,
Mm-hmm.
Marine and Impel Down, and escape from each and every one of them alive. Like by that time, you should have
Yep.
given him even a bigger bounty before. But I guess that was the structure of the story and how Oda was
I think
going through it.
it's
So
even
it
more
was
of the fact
overdue.
that everyone underestimates. I think even to build on that, I think it's that everyone underestimates Luffy. That's always been the theme of the story till he faced Katakuri. I mean, Katakuri was the
They
only real
actually
opponent.
still do underestimate them. Even the
Underestimated.
CP0.
Exactly. Everybody does.
Yeah,
100%.
even in
Everybody
this
does.
chapter.
Katakuri.
Yeah.
Agreed. Agreed. Because
Yeah,
they
even
underestimate why is he so important. I mean,
yeah,
he punched he punched what's it called? One of the I forgot what their names are. The people at the
Celestial
top.
Dragons.
Celestial Dragon. Like that
Yeah.
alone was enough of a warning to have put him on the scale. Like, okay, this isn't someone we're dealing with that's serious. But yeah, I agree. I think bringing CP0 ties in more the story because obviously their aim was to Robin, but there was no way you're going with Robin without ending up having to intervene with Luffy anyway. So it's a nice way to bring them all tied in together. So
Yeah.
I think
Although I kind of feel bad for the CP0 agent because I'm like, he knows that he's Luffy's fighting Kaido right now, and he definitely like from the look on his face and the way he was complaining,
He's like,
he
I'm
doesn't
good.
want to get in between that at all. Like he might be a little bit strong, but I think also like a lot of people were like hyping them up once they were introduced into the story. But the CP0 is technically not, they're strong, but they're strong in different ways. They're more of like a covert agents, like they're special forces essentially. They're not like
Mm,
upfront, up and personal, like fighting guys one after the other, like the Marines, like the ones that are like obviously they're like the admirals and stuff. But it's like they're strong, but not that strong. That was evident by the time you saw Izo like take one of them down with him. So they're like basically on the level. I would say that out of all the Straw Hats, probably from Brook up to Luffy can easily beat them.
I'd even say Frankie because I have
Yeah,
Brook over.
Frankie as well.
Wait,
Actually,
I have Brook over Frankie. That's why just how I feel about it. So that's the only
I
reason.
have Brook over Frankie.
I think Brook is stronger than Frankie.
Yeah, he's much more durable.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
No, no.
that would kind of make sense. That
Yeah,
makes
no, but
sense.
I agree with you. I think, I mean, obviously, as being portrayed now, I agree with that completely. Obviously, there are the exceptions like the Rob Lucci's and etc. etc. But
Yeah,
obviously, they're not in that situation. So, yeah, I agree. I mean, we're gonna see because I think it's gonna be something they're gonna have to expand on because unless there's more CP0 or 9 units that we know that are extremely strong, I don't see how they can intervene unless they wait for when Luffy deals with Kaido and then has no energy. I'm assuming that's the only strategy because a lot of people are pretty weak. So maybe that would be their strategy to do cleanup. But I'm not sure.
I believe CP0 is the strongest out of the Cypher Pole agencies,
Mm,
and they're the only ones that directly work under the Celestial Dragons and the
mm,
Gorosei.
yeah, that's
So,
correct.
um, but I believe the ones that came onto Wano right now that only came for negotiations with Orochi are like the lower tiers. They're not the strongest. I believe Lucci is the one that's the strongest now, especially like I believe he must have trained a lot more.
100%.
Yeah. So
He has to have.
yeah, but that's interesting though. It's like how is he gonna balance it? Because it's only one Cypher Pole agent now that's left. So it's
Yeah,
still gonna be a difficult thing trying to get kidnap Robin and then also take down Luffy and assassinate him.
doesn't seem possible. It doesn't seem possible at
Yeah,
this point in time.
it doesn't seem possible because I think the world government is hoping that Luffy loses, or they're
Mm,
hoping that by the end of Kaido and Luffy's fight, Luffy is significantly weakened that he can
that
easily
they can.
be taken
Yeah,
out.
yeah, 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 yeah,
But
yeah.
I doubt that's gonna happen. They're gonna be people around him, so I don't know. It's just so weird. I'm like, that was a weird call to have to make at that point in time. But we'll see. We just have to see how it plays out.
100%. I mean, with everything Oda does, normally we don't see the importance of it until very later. So you really
Yeah,
never know. We
it's
have no
always
idea.
how he does things. Some
Yeah,
things he has like set up like in arcs before that have now paid off, but he has also set up
yeah.
other stuff that need to like pay off. But some he doesn't really like.
Eventually pay off.
Yeah, so we'll just
Yeah.
have to see how that works out.
Agreed, agreed. Yeah, and I think that wraps up that part. Lastly, and I think we get to then the last main part of the chapter, which is
Yeah,
obviously the Kaido versus Luffy fight. So,
yeah.
I mean, you saw obviously Kaido have a little flashback. Man was drunk crying, thinking of reminiscing
Drunk
about
crying and thinking about prime
his
Big
baby.
Mom.
Yeah, he was thinking about his baby back
Prime
in the
Big
day.
Mom.
And
Niggas
then
were thirsty on the timeline though. Like when I was saying like everything about Big Mom, I'm like, y'all are calling her Big MILF and Big
um,
Mommy now? I'm like, bro, chill. I mean, she was fine in the younger days, but still, like the amount of thirst is just a drawing, my boy.
I lie. I'm about to catch all you niggas. She 15. She was 15 in that clip. Just know CIA got you all.
No, no, it was Kaido that was 15. I think she was about
Oh, it was
21
Kaido
then.
that was.
Yeah, because it was like
Oh,
an interaction between him
man,
and the first time he
jeez.
met her. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a weird thing. Like I've also been seeing like a weird theory that Kaido and Big Mom had a kid, and that kid is
I
Yamato.
I agree. I'm off that theory.
It kind
I'm
of
all
works,
for it.
but now I'm
Uh,
scared. Like, how did that work out? When did that even happen? But it kind of makes sense. I was just like, oh no, oh, I'm cringing just thinking about it because I'm like, it's more than likely what happened. I'm just like,
I'm saying it sounds too good to be true.
but I'm
I'm all for
sure
it.
like that's one of the
I'm
things
all for it.
Oda is not going to confirm. I would be surprised if he does
He has
confirm
to.
it.
He has to. He has to. Just do it. Like it'll actually be crazy. That would be crazy. I said the best power couple, Kaido and Big Mom. What? That is
Oh
crazy.
man, but it I cannot wait because like right now Oda is just basically setting up Kaido's backstory, and a
Yep.
lot of it is gonna like there are a lot of elements that are gonna be related to rocks and Big Mom as well.
Yeah, I'm so
More
excited.
more
So
Whitebeard. I'm so excited for that. More of maybe possibility we'll get more of Roger and
yep.
like their skirmishes, maybe something about Shanks. It's just I'm so excited. I'm just like, yes, I'm so here for it. I'm
Plus,
so
I
here
think even more than that, you get to see where, well, from King's original vision of Kaido being Joy Boy, we can see where that path changed. Where did he decide, all right, this isn't the path for him, where his thing? I think all of those are going to be connected. It's going to wrap up beautifully for the closing moments of Wano. And I think it's, I, I know Wano's been long. A lot of people complain about the length, but I mean, every chapter since 1,000 has just been beautiful. So I've really had no complaints. I've enjoyed myself. So,
for it.
it is what it is. It is
It
what it is.
hasn't been bad. Like my only issue has been like climax is happening right before a break, and I'm just.
Yeah. Damn. It's like, damn.
But I'm so happy because finally we see Luffy in Gear Fourth Snake Man, and he's using
Bro,
advanced
that was
bunkers.
beautiful. That was beautiful. That shot, the shot of him. Oh my goodness, that was insane. It was insane.
It
When
was
that eventually
reminding me. It
animated
was
in the
reminding
next
me
5 years, you know it's
It was
gonna be
reminding
amazing.
me of that panel where he was fighting Katakuri and Katakuri's eyes just changed
The
and
art, yes, yes, it was
oh
amazing.
my
I mean,
gosh.
the artwork in this, what's it called? This panel was sensational. I think even the what's it called? The graphic of the punch with Kaido, you kind of see his face. You see the little bubbles of the alcohol and everything. Like even the
Yeah,
minute details are done perfectly. And I think that's what I love about older man. You're goaded still. You're goaded.
edible. And now we're dealing with a different kind of fighter because it's not like he has I don't believe he has advanced observation. Kaido does. I feel like he's more of a durable fighter than he is a fighter that like kind of like observes anything and like in terms of speed. He's quick, yes, but um it feels like he's more of a conqueror, specialized conquerors and advanced armament type fighter combined with the zones, like and that durability. So like every time so it's gonna be interesting how he contends with Luffy's speed. And that speed is
Mm.
doubled by power as well. So it's just
Yep,
although I don't think that's enough. That I don't think that's gonna be enough to defeat Kaido. I'm still hoping
agreed. Definitely not.
he
Definitely not.
awakens.
I'm assuming he's gonna have to awaken. I'm assuming we're still gonna have another tussle. I mean, right now it's looking good for Luffy. I think he's gonna get that little spell of where he feels like he's overpowering. Then you're gonna see Kaido kind of come out of his drunk state, and I'm assuming that's when it's gonna be the serious final battle. And I do think that's when you will get I hope, a double fruit awakening. Because I mean, with Law and Kid having this, I feel like it's
Yeah,
just set up nice.
it's definitely happening, but here's the thing though. Um Kaido is playing to Luffy's game. Luffy has just been like a one-on-one brawler for most like that's his spiel, that's his specialty when he fights. He fights you hand to hand. He's not one of those that's an intelligent fighter. Uh, not in the sense of like intelligence in terms of strategy. Like he's more of like a brawler, hard to core, like
Mm-hmm.
one-on-one brawler. It's like
Mm-hmm.
we're finally gonna see like somebody best Kaido. When they say one on one be bet on Kaido, but one on one, I'm betting on Luffy because obviously he's the main character of the story, and this is
Yeah.
just another like hurdle.
Stumble in his luck. Yeah.
Yeah, basically another obstacle that he has to overcome, which makes him
Agreed.
an even greater fighter. But like right now, we're seeing Luffy and Kaido in their elements, where they like fighting the best, which
Yeah.
is one-on-one, and it's just exciting. This is so exciting. I can't wait. Um,
Absolutely.
but one thing I forgot was we didn't mention Zoro was saved by Frankie.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That was a
No,
good point.
I was so worried for him, but I was like, yes, we managed to get him. He's safe.
Yeah. You finally
Um,
see his hand extend to go pick him up. So that was good. That was good.
yeah, yeah. Hopefully he's okay, cause like that recovery after this arc is is gonna be insane. He's
Hey,
gonna be out for like a week or so.
and we're gonna see more clarification on whatever that freaking Soul Reaper was. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
he's definitely
excited.
100%. And
Okay.
no break for the next 3 weeks, so we're cooking.
Nope.
Oh,
Break. Oh, I'm so ready. But predictions for next week chapter 1042. What are we thinking?
all right. We're gonna get some information. No, no, no. I think it's gonna be Luffy Kaido or
Yeah,
majority. Yeah, just
it's
leave it.
gonna be a full-on Luffy Kaido fight.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's my
I
go-to.
think we're gonna go a little bit into Luffy versus Kaido, like where
Mm,
they are currently, and and then we're gonna go into like his flashback finally.
yes, agree, agree, agree. Yeah, I agree. I
Yeah,
think we're gonna have a little. It's gonna be similar to like how they did the Doflamingo. After like that big reveal of something happened, then they had that immediate little conflict. And I think we're gonna have maybe one major hockey clash, which will lead to then the
yeah.
backstory. We'll see. We'll see.
Although, do you think we're gonna end arc Act 3 here and then move on to Act 4 and 5? Because a lot of people were theorizing at the beginning of Wano that essentially Wano is structured in like a 5 act play, a Japanese 5 act play, and we're only in the third arc.
I
So,
think this is the final. I think
although
this is
I
the final.
think it could be like the way it's looking is like as much as people predicted it was going to be a 5 act play, it's like it's looking
Nah,
more to be like a 3 act play
yeah,
when
I
we're
think the
really
five is a
close to the
reach.
climax.
Agreed. I think the five is a reach. I think the way the story is set up right now, it seems like it's going in a good direction to be like concluded, like in terms of this arc. So in terms of a 4 or 5, I don't see. I feel like it'll just be stretching the Wano story.
Yeah. All right, man. This was a good discussion. There's lots to talk about in terms of this. Um,
Hundred
but
percent,
thank you
hundred
for
percent.
coming on. Thank you
Obviously,
guys
man.
for joining us on this One Piece discussion on 1041. We hope you come again and have us on this journey. Like this is still new to us. There's still a lot of stuff we're still figuring out, trying to make sure everything is like moving as smoothly as possible. We'll try our best. I promise. Maybe get some better gear eventually in terms of camera, so it doesn't have to be too grainy all the time. Oh man. All right.